Okay, hey everybody. So it's October 14th and we had our last swim. When was your last swim?
A
couple days ago?
Yeah.
She went in.
I think 3 days ago.
How was it?
Cold.
Cold. Yeah, it was cold. I made her go in and unplug, and I'm going to show you that we're draining our pool, and I'm going to show you how we do it. It's pretty simple, but you never know what people are interested in seeing, so this is what we do. I'm just draining it this way, and this probably is not necessarily the best way because you get a lot of water rushing through here. There's a plug on this side and a plug on the other side, and it's actually closed up. I need to stick something in there to pop it open, so let's do that.
Mommy, I thought it was stick for you.
And let's not drop my camera in the pool. So the pool, I haven't been pumping it. I already unscrewed the pump for a few days because it's too cold. We haven't been swimming, so I'm just going to use this pole to pop this off. Okay, so I got it open. I'm actually having to hold it open because all that pressure is making it want to close. Let's see. There we go. Okay, now it's staying open. So ideally you want to pump the water out so you don't flood your whole area. But, you know, the salt water might do a little damage to the grass, but last year we let all the chlorine out. So the reason that we drain our pool and we don't try to just cover it or whatever is because we want to re-level it again. So once again we had an uneven pool this year and we really are going to try to get it level. So we're just going to drain it and then we'll be working on leveling the ground, which has been a struggle for us. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and give you 5 tips or 5 things that I learned from having a pool this season. But first I need to pop that open. Okay, so it's open. We're on full drain now. I'll show you guys how my yard ends up looking after this. I just kind of wedge this pole to hold that open. So we're just draining from one side right now. And I'm going to flip this around and give you my pool tips. Alright, I'm going to go with the first and biggest tip right away, is right under this blue tarp. My biggest tip is get yourself a sand filter with a salt to chlorine conversion, which is this. This is our first year using this. Last year we used the regular filter and pump that was just like a teeny little thing. So I got this on Amazon. I'll put the link below. It's a little pricey, but I put 0 chemicals in my pool this year. Okay, that's not true. I put chemicals in my pool 2 times this year just to make sure, and never had any problems with it going green. This makes chlorine for you. So tip number 1, go to salt pool. Now, salt pool does have its downfalls like rust. But to me, you know, dealing with a little bit of rust as opposed to dealing with algae like I did the past few years, it's a totally fine trade-off. Tip number 2, don't stress. Don't worry too much about your pH and your alkalinity and all that stuff. I'm like the ultimate pool slacker. This year I barely checked that. I just checked my chlorine and I made sure to run my filter. So yes, you're not supposed to ride your bike today. You're homesick from school. Okay, so I ran this pump for 8 hours a night. Okay, so that's a tip. Run it at night because your chlorine will just get evaporated during the day. So run your filter at night. Yeah. My other tip is when you want to get leaves out of your pool, make a whirlpool. I have a video about this, but basically you just swim in a circle and then you take your little net and it all goes to the middle and you can just scoop it out. That way you don't have to try to suck that out, because if you're using a vacuum, you can't suck leaves through these little things. So you have to use a net to get them out. Alright, the next tip is when I do vacuum stuff like this, I put this on waste, which means when you put it on waste, it's coming from the pool and it's coming out It's not going through the filter and back into your pool. So I don't want to run that stuff through my filter. I just vacuum real quick, get the stuff out, it comes right out. So I vacuum on waste, that's me. The next tip is you want to backwash your filter. About every couple days, I just run it on backwash for a minute, and then I run it to rinse for just a minute, and that's all going to come out of here, and that's cleaning out your sand that's in here. Alright, next tip is this bad boy right here takes 3 50-pound bags of sand. I only put 2 in it this year, and I made it. I survived, but it wasn't even up to the fill level with sand. So if you get this filter, you're going to need 3 bags of sand. This is a 20-foot pool. If you have this size pool, you're going to need about 6 bags of salt to turn it into salt water. What else can I say? If your pool is off level, you can still rock out. This is our second season of being about this off level. So it's not great, it's not that beautiful, but we have no issues with collapsing. And we're gonna do better though, because you don't want to put all this pressure on your poles year after year. So leveling is difficult. But yeah, don't overthink it. You know, it's really not that big of a deal. If you want a pool, go for it. You're probably going to make a few mistakes here and there, but the number one thing is, you know, checking your chlorine. Okay, this is an unpopular opinion, but you don't need a $100 chlorine checker. This thing is at Walmart. It's fine. It tells you you can check your acid and your chlorine and all that stuff. A lot of people will tell you that you really need to buy this fancy checker. I don't. I'm like a pool minimalist, you guys. We just want to have clear water and we want to swim. And I don't want to put chemicals in my pool. So with this saltwater to chlorine converter, I didn't have to pour bleach in my pool all the time. Last season, I was bleaching, like a gallon of bleach every day, and I still lost the algae battle by July. And now we swam until October with no issues. So this is still coming out. I'll definitely check back on it, and I'm going to think if I have any other tips for you. But in the winter, I need to figure out what to do with that filter, how to store it properly, probably take the water out of it. So I'm going to do a little research and I'll let you know what I find out. Thanks so much for listening and happy swimming. Okay, so we're headed out and we're going to check on this little river and see what's going on with the pool draining. Alright, so it's pretty wet. And the pool is about... yeah, it's getting there. Oh, you can see the dirt line. Okay, let's walk through the swamp. It's okay. Louisiana's used to being a swamp. Okay, so we're still draining just out of that one hole. It's actually just a tiny little space. Ooh, squishy. Alright, so as you can see, this isn't the best thing because it's getting it all wet under the pool. But like I said, we're just going to, when it's empty, we're going to move it over and fix it so we can level it. So it's kind of bittersweet because all through the season it's such a pain in the butt, right? You got to come out and check on it every day. And there was one more thing that I wanted to tell you, and so I'm going to go show you. Just in case, you know, you live across the world and you're setting up your pool, go check out my other videos. I'll pop them up here and I'll put them in the description box of how to set this up. I think I did a pretty good job. But something to note is that this right here, if you don't prime your pump, so you have to open this up, let the water come in until this comes to the top. I can't do it now because there's no water, but before you turn it on. So one of the issues, if you let this go on a timer and you let it go every 8 hours or whatever, this will lose pressure. And so it'll start sucking and nothing will happen. So do be warned that I don't recommend putting it on a timer. I come out and manually turn it on so that I can make sure that this is primed. Otherwise, you're going to burn out your pump because there won't be any water. Alright, so it's a mess down here. So thank you for following my pool journey, and until next season, I really appreciate all the views on the pool videos, and hopefully next year we'll do everything perfect and I can show you the setup again and everything. So again, thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.